So if we have a quick revision of the groups whatever we did, like we have salt, in this we added pinch of salt, we added concentrated NaOH. If ammonical smell is there, then ammonium may be present. Ammonical smell. If there is no ammonical smell, it means zero group absent, and then we have to move further. What is the further one is? That is group 1. What are the group radicals of group 1? Lead, Hg2 2 plus, that is mercurous, and silver. These are the radicals. And what is the group reagent? We take OS, and in that OS we add dilute HCl. If we get white precipitate, it means lead present. But if we don't have white precipitate, it means group 1 absent. Then we have to move further for group 2. So what is the group reagent for group 1? That is dilute HCl. And group 1 is precipitated in form of its chlorides. Right? Then move to the next, that is group 2. If the group 1 is absent, then move to group 2. How do we proceed for group 2? We take the group 1 solution as it is and then pass H2S gas for. Then we may get black precipitate or we may get yellow precipitate. Now what are the radicals of group 2? Group 2 radicals are, that is, if black precipitate, it may be lead or copper. If it is yellow precipitate, then it may be arsenic or cadmium. Then what is the group reagent for group 2? It is H2S in presence of dilute HCl. If no black or yellow precipitate, it means we are supposed to move for group 3. What are the group radical for group 3? It is Al3 plus or Fe3 plus. Now how do we proceed for group 3? We take OS, in this we add ammonium chloride, we boil, cool, and then we add ammonium hydroxide in excess. So what is the group reagent for group 3? It is ammonium chloride in presence of ammonium hydroxide. What is the strong electrolyte here? Ammonium chloride, which suppresses the dissociation of ammonium hydroxide further, and because of the common ion present, that is ammonium ion. That is how the concentration of hydroxide will be less, and that's how the solubility product of the hydroxides of this group will be less, and that is why these radicals will be precipitated here in form of their hydroxides. Now what happens when we do so? We may get gelatinous white precipitate. If it is so, it is Al3 plus. We may get reddish brown precipitate. If it is so, it is Fe3 plus. But if there are no precipitates at all, or if it is not gelatinous white precipitate, it is something else, then it means both are absent. Then we have to move further. What is that? That is group 4. Now group 4, what are the radicals present in group 4? In group 4 we have Zn2 plus, we have Mn2 plus, we have cobalt CO2 plus, we have nickel Ni2 plus. This is a flesh colored salt, or you can say buff colored salt. This is a pink colored salt. This is a pale green colored salt. So all these are colored salt, only this is white. So basically we will focus on this. Now what is the group reagent? How do we proceed for group 4? If there are no precipitate, no gelatinous white precipitate or no reddish brown precipitate, it means group 3 absent, and we are supposed to move to group 4. Now group 4, what are the tests we are supposed to perform? How do we proceed for group 4? In group 3 solution itself, pass H2S gas. So what is the group reagent for group 4? In fact, it is, what was group 3? Original solution, ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide. This is what? This is our group 3. Now in this we added or we passed H2S gas. So now it is what? It became the group reagent for group 4. So group 4 group reagent is H2S in presence of basic medium. Here is the difference. If we see group 2 also the group reagent was H2S, but that was in presence of group 2 also the group reagent was H2S, but that was in presence of dilute HCl, that was in acidic medium. But if you pay attention here, in group 4 H2S is passed in presence of the basic medium. How is it helping here? That is, ammonium chloride is a strong electrolyte, so it will dissociate fully to give NH4 plus Cl minus. Now we have ammonium hydroxide also. Ammonium hydroxide is a weak electrolyte, it will dissociate to give ammonium ion and hydroxide ions. So here is the common ion, ammonium ions, right? Now we are having H2S also we are passing, which is again a weak electrolyte. It will dissociate to give 2 hydrogen ion and sulfide ions. Now these hydroxide ions formed here will be combining with the hydrogen ion formed here to form water. And what are we left with now? That is sulfide. Now when this hydrogen ion is removed from here, then the sulfide ion will be formed in excess, and that is how the sulfides will be precipitated, or you can say concentration H2S will ionize more because this is being removed by combining with hydroxide. So that's how its dissociation will increase, and that's how the group 4 radicals will be precipitated as their sulfides. So what is the group reagent for group 4 in all? If we conclude, it is H2S gas in presence of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. So I hope we are clear about it. They will be precipitated, group 4 reagents are precipitated as their sulfides, like zinc sulfide, or you can say it is manganese sulfide, or it may be cobalt sulfide, or it may be nickel sulfide. So they are precipitated in form of their sulfides, right? Now the next is how do we or what type of precipitate do we get? So we took the group 3 solution. How are we proceeding for group 3? For group group 4? For group 4, how are we proceeding? We are taking group 3 solution itself, and in that itself we have passed H2S gas. And after passing H2S gas, there are possibilities like we may get dirty white precipitate. If we get dirty white precipitate, it means it is Zn2 plus. If we get buff colored precipitate, it means buff colored precipitate, it means it is Mn2 plus. If we have black colored precipitate, then it may be any of the two. It may be nickel or it may be cobalt, Ni2 plus or CO2 plus, but that can easily be concluded just by observing the color of the salts. So we will start with the confirmatory test of zinc. How do we proceed with this white precipitate? The confirmatory test of zinc, how do we proceed? That is confirmatory test for Zn2 plus. What do? We take this white precipitate, and this white precipitate are dissolved in dilute HCl. We will get a clear solution, and we will divide this solution into two halves. So after dividing the solution in two halves, to one part we will add sodium hydroxide. We will be getting white precipitate again. To one part, the first part, add dilute HCl. Dilute HCl we have already added. To one part, add NaOH. Sodium hydroxide test it is. NaOH test. Name of the test is NaOH test. So what are we doing? We have dissolved the white precipitate in dilute HCl, and we have divided it in two parts. Now to this solution, to one part, first part, we are adding NaOH. Add NaOH slowly and in excess. In excess. What we will get? We will get white precipitate here. Now what about the another test? The another test is potassium ferrocyanide test. Potassium ferrocyanide test. Now how do we perform this test? To the second part of this solution. Second part, add potassium ferrocyanide solution, K4FeCN 6. So add this, what we will get? We will get bluish white precipitate. Appearance of bluish white precipitate is what? Confirmed Zn2 plus. So these are the confirmatory tests. Now what is the chemistry behind it? How do we perform, or how are we getting this? So what is happening here, if it is a zinc containing salt, we passed H2S gas through it, it is precipitated as zinc sulfide and it is giving dirty white precipitate. So what are these dirty white precipitate obtained in the preliminary test of zinc or group 4? It is zinc sulfide basically. Now, what about the confirmatory test? How are we performing this confirmatory? We are dissolving zinc sulfide or the dirty white precipitate in HCl. So that is how it will be converted to zinc chloride. Zinc chloride. Now to this zinc chloride, the first test is sodium hydroxide test. So this zinc chloride solution, we are adding sodium hydroxide solution and we will be getting zinc hydroxide. So whatever the white precipitate we are getting now, it is because of the formation of zinc hydroxide plus NaCl. Now what about the second test? Second test we are performing, that is potassium ferrocyanide test. So potassium ferrocyanide test, what is happening here? Here again we have ZnCl2, the second part. So ZnCl2 aqueous, and we have added to this potassium ferrocyanide solution, K4FeCN6 solution. Now it will be converted to Zn2FeCN6. So it will be converted to zinc ferrocyanide, and because of the formation of this zinc ferrocyanide we get bluish white precipitate. So this is all about the chemistry behind the two. Now we are starting with the next, that is test for group 5. Say if we don't get any white precipitate or buff colored or black precipitate, it means group 4 absent, and then we need to proceed for group 5. Now what about group 5? What are the radicals present in group 5? In group 5 we have radicals, that is barium, strontium and calcium. The radicals present in group 5 are barium, strontium and calcium. These are the radicals present or in group 5. All these form white salt, but calcium salts are generally insoluble, right? So barium, strontium, calcium are the radicals of group 5. How do we proceed for group 5? For group 5 we do what? We take original solution, we add ammonium chloride to this, we add ammonium hydroxide in excess. The process will be repeated in the same way, the way we do for group 3, that we added ammonium chloride solid, we boil, cool, then we add ammonium hydroxide in excess, and then we add ammonium carbonate to it. So we add ammonium carbonate, that is NH4 whole twice CO3, a saturated solution of ammonium carbonate is added. Saturated solution of ammonium carbonate is added, and that's how we will be getting white precipitate. So if we get white precipitate here, it means group 5 may be present. Group 5, it may be barium, strontium or calcium, any of the two may be present. Group 5 may be present, right? Now here we should understand the chemistry behind it. What is happening here, that we took ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide and ammonium carbonate. So what is the group reagent for the group 5? Group reagent for group 5 is ammonium carbonate in presence of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. So how this ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide is helping here, that it will be allowing, because ammonium chloride is a strong electrolyte and ammonium hydroxide is a weak electrolyte. So because of the common ion, it will be suppressing the dissociation of the ammonium hydroxide, and the presence of ammonium ions decreases, and that's how the extent of ionization of ammonium carbonate will be slightly lowered, and that's how the solubility product of these group carbonates, that is barium carbonate or strontium carbonate etc., will be low, and the group will be precipitated as their carbonate. carbonates. So group 5 are precipitated as their carbonate, like barium carbonate or strontium carbonate or calcium carbonate. So all the three will be giving white precipitate. I hope we are clear about what is the group reagent of it. Ammonium carbonate. How ammonium carbonate in presence of ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide. So here you can see ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide both are containing ammonium ion, and ammonium carbonate is further containing ammonium ion. So that's how, because of the excess of ammonium ions here, the dissociation of ammonium carbonate will be suppressed, and that is how the carbonate ion concentration will be less, and that's how the solubility product of group 5 carbonates will be less, and that's how group 5 is precipitated here. So anyhow, you should understand about the common ion effect and the solubility product. Now what about after getting white precipitate? What do we do with this white precipitate? How do we proceed for the conformatory of group 5 radicals? So we take this white precipitate and dissolve it in hot dilute acetic acid. Dissolve in hot dilute acetic acid. So we will be getting a clear solution. Now divide this solution into 3 parts. We will be dividing this solution in 3 parts. Now to one part we will add potassium chromate. So we are doing test for barium. With one part we will perform the test for barium. Test for barium, how will we do? To the first part of this solution, add potassium chromate, K2CrO4. If we get bright yellow precipitate here, we should get bright yellow precipitate. It means barium conformed. And if we get this barium conformed, then no need to proceed further. Then no need to go for it. But if there is no bright yellow precipitate obtained, then we have to move for strontium. So what is the test for strontium? If it is not there, then we are moving for this. So how will we proceed for this? To the second part. To the second part, add ammonium sulfate solution. Ammonium sulfate solution. So after adding ammonium sulfate solution, if we get white precipitate, what does it mean? It means strontium conformed. But we should be very firm with this order. First we should make sure that barium is not there, then only we will be doing test for strontium. If we get bright yellow precipitate here itself, then no need to proceed further. We have to stop here itself. But if no bright yellow precipitate, it means we have to go for the next, that is we have to test for strontium also by adding ammonium sulfate solution to the second part. And if we get white precipitate, it confirms strontium. But if after adding ammonium sulfate solution we don't get white precipitate, it means calcium is present, and then we have to do test for calcium. So then how will we proceed for test for calcium? To the third part. To the third part, add ammonium oxalate. Add ammonium oxalate solution. After adding ammonium oxalate solution, there will be white precipitate deposited at the walls of the test tube. White precipitate deposited at the walls of the test tube, which we have to scratch with the help of glass rod. Deposited at the walls. At the walls of the test tube. So that's how we can confirm calcium also. It means calcium confirmed. Apart from this, these one test, like one test for barium is potassium chromate, for strontium is ammonium sulfate, and for calcium it is ammonium oxalate, and this rest of the two tests, that is for strontium and calcium, has to be performed if the previous one is absent. Otherwise no need to move further, right? But apart from this, there is another confirmatory test also, that is flame test. For group 5 we perform flame test also. How do we perform flame test? We make a paste. We take a pinch of salt in a watch glass. So to this salt add 2 to 3 drops of concentrated HCl, and take this paste will be taken on platinum wire. we have already made a loop of it, and on this and we will be taking this platinum wire in the oxidized flame. We are taking it in the oxidized flame, the blue flame. If there will be a color given, like if we get the apple green color, or you can say grassy green color, it means it is barium confirmed. This is a test which we can perform initially in the beginning itself, when we are doing the physical examination, etc. At that time itself we can perform the flame test, so that in the beginning itself we are aware that group 5 is present or not. So apple green colored, if it is there, it means barium confirmed, and then you have to perform. But barium confirmed here doesn't mean that you need not to perform the other chemical tests. We have to do all those tests also. Now what about if we get the crimson red color? What is crimson red color? Crimson red color is a lilac red color, or you may say it is a pinkish red color. So if we get crimson red color, it means strontium confirmed. And if we get a brick red color, which is a dull red, then it means calcium confirmed, right? So that is how we can do the test for strontium, barium, strontium, calcium. Now there is a question, why do we follow this order, BSc? Why do we always perform the test for barium first? What I am talking here, that first we have to test for barium, then only for strontium and calcium. Why is it so? Because say for example we tested the ammonium sulfate test, we did this test first. Now ammonium sulfate is a test which is given by barium as well as strontium both. So we are not sure that this white precipitate we are getting because of the presence of barium or because of the presence of strontium. So if we have already ruled out the possibility or the presence of barium, it means now we are clear that the white precipitate is because of strontium only. Similarly, if I talk about strontium, strontium has a tendency to give both the tests. It gives white precipitate with the ammonium, oxalate also, and calcium also do so. So if we are not ruling out the possibility of the presence of strontium in before, so definitely it may be a confusion when we are getting the white precipitate with ammonium oxalate, whether it is because of calcium or strontium. So that is why we need to do, or we need to follow the proper order, that is BSc, that is barium, strontium, calcium. But if we don't have any white precipitate after adding ammonium carbonate saturated solution, it means group 5 absent, and then we can move for group 6 also. And as I told that this can be done initially itself by performing flame test. Now one more thing I want to highlight here, that we are making the paste for the flame test by adding concentrated HCl. Why is it so? Why are we making the paste with concentrated HCl? So that the salt may be converted to its chloride. Why are we converting the salt to its chloride? Because chlorides are volatile in nature. So that is why I say, for example, if it is the original salt is barium nitrate, but when you added concentrated HCl to it, so it became barium chloride. So barium chloride is volatile in nature. So when you will take this salt in the Bunsen flame, at that time it will be vaporized and it will be giving the flame test. If you are taking barium nitrate as such, then it may not give the flame test. So that is why it needs to be converted to the chlorides by adding concentrated HCl. Now we are moving to, if there are no white precipitate after adding ammonium carbonate, it means we need to move for group 6. Now what are the radicals present in group 6? In group 6 we have 3 radicals, that is Mg2 plus, sodium ion, and potassium ion, but these two are not in syllabus, so we will focus only on magnesium ion. So one thing I want to tell here, that not getting up to group 5 itself is an indication that group 6 may be present. So now we are directly doing the confirmatory test for magnesium. How do we perform the confirmatory test for magnesium? The test for magnesium, the name of that is sodium dihydrogen phosphate test. sodium dihydrogen phosphate test is the confirmatory test for magnesium we perform. So how do we perform this test? We take the original solution, we add ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide in excess, the way we did in group 3, then in group 4, 5, etc. So same way we are doing here also. So we are adding ammonium hydroxide in excess, and now to this solution we will be adding sodium dihydrogen phosphate, that is sodium dihydrogen phosphate. So we will be doing it. So it is chemistry we will be doing afterwards. So here we are doing what are we taking? We are taking the original solution. We are taking the original solution. To this original solution we added ammonium chloride, then ammonium hydroxide in excess, and then we are adding, that is sodium dihydrogen phosphate, NaH2PO4 is added. So after doing so we get crystalline white precipitate. Crystalline white precipitate will be obtained, which will be deposited on the inner walls of the test tube, which can be scratched further with the help of a glass rod. So this confirms the presence of magnesium. As I told that not getting white precipitate after adding ammonium carbonate saturated solution in group 5 itself is indicating that all groups are absent, and now we are left with what? We are left with group 6 only. So now what is the chemistry behind it? What are we doing here? We take the magnesium containing salt, that is Mg2 plus, and to this magnesium containing salt we are adding the sodium hydrogen phosphate, that is Na2HPO4, sodium hydrogen phosphate, and we are adding that we are doing in presence of ammonium ions. So we will be getting the white precipitate because of the formation of MgNH4PO4 plus. So the white precipitate is because of the magnesium ammonium phosphate formed. So because of this we are getting the white precipitate. So this is all about the chemistry behind the test for magnesium. We did the chemistry for this also, strontium carbonate, okay, group 5, yes, precipitated as carbonates, and we have not discussed about the chemistry for the test, so that we can do here. What are we doing? We took the group 5 chemistry I am discussing about. Group 4 we have already done, group 5 chemistry I forgot to do it. So we are discussing about the chemistry behind group 5. So what are we doing? When we took the original solution, and in that we added ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide in excess, and ammonium carbonate, then these group 5 are precipitated as their carbonates, either barium carbonate or strontium carbonate or calcium carbonate. So what is the reaction taking place here? It is the barium or strontium or calcium containing salt, and we added ammonium carbonate to it. So ammonium carbonate will precipitate it to the respective barium carbonate or strontium carbonate. Now whatever the white precipitate we got, we are dissolving this white precipitate in hot dilute acetic acid. So we are getting, that is barium acetate, CH3COO whole twice Ba, barium acetate we are getting, plus carbon dioxide. If it is a carbonate here, that is why, plus H2O. Now we got this barium acetate. To this barium acetate we are adding potassium chromate solution, and we are getting the bright yellow precipitate because of the formation of barium chromate, yellow precipitate because of the formation of this, plus potassium acetate. Now similarly, if we do strontium carbonate, there also we did the same thing. Strontium carbonate, we dissolve the precipitate in acetic acid and we get strontium acetate here plus carbon dioxide plus water. Now this strontium acetate on reaction with ammonium sulfate, that is CH3COO whole twice Sr, if we add ammonium sulfate to it, NH4 twice SO4, we will be getting strontium sulfate, that is white precipitate. So that's how the chemistry of this group 5 tests. So this finishes with the basic radical, and this finishes with the salt analysis also. Thank you.